everyone, I'm Hammi. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be closing out my budget for the month of February. So February was a month that was okay. I did overspend in some of the categories, but the good thing is that I did not have to dip into my buffer. I also did not have to dip into my emergency fund. So overall, February was a good month for me. In the month of February, I budgeted with 55,860 rupees. And now let's go through how I spent all of those. Into my emergency fund, I budgeted 2,000 rupees and I did deposit 2,000 rupees into my emergency fund. So there's no difference. SIP, I budgeted 2,000. I deposited 2,000 into it. For my PPF, I budgeted 1,580 rupees into it and I did deposit 1,580 rupees into it. So for my savings and investment, the amount that I budgeted for was what I put into each of those categories. Now coming to my fixed costs and expenses, in my insurance, I budgeted 2460 and I did put 2460 into this. Into my siblings fund also, I did put the budgeted amount and so there's no difference. EMI, I budgeted 13,615. I put 13,615. LIC loan, I deposited 1,000 into it. Room rent, I budgeted 4,500 and I did send 4,500 to my sister. For my subscription category, I budgeted 1,800 but I only spent 1,646. That is because for the month of February, I post the Netflix subscription and my Netflix subscription is 199 each month. So what I did was I did a yearly recharge for Wink app, which is a music app like Spotify. So I did that. And therefore, if I had budgeted 1,800 and I only spent 1,646, the difference is 154 rupees. Which means I have a remaining balance of 154 rupees in my subscription category. In my ration category, I budgeted 3,000 rupees and I only spent 1,570 rupees. So 3,000 minus 1,570, I have a remaining balance of 1,430 rupees. For petrol, I budgeted 3,000 for the month of February, but I spent 3,400 rupees, which means I have a negative balance of minus 400. Food and groceries, I budgeted 3,520 and for February, the amount that I spent was 1,570 rupees. And so the remaining balance is 3520 minus 1570 is 1,950 rupees. In my food and groceries categories, I did not spend a lot of money. That is because my mother's kitchen garden has a lot of veggies and that is why I have balance like this. Otherwise, our veggies are so expensive. And I'm glad that my mother has a green thumb. She is so very much into gardening. My father is also into gardening and both of my sisters are also into gardening. I am the only one who is not into gardening. We still have a lot of cabbages, carrots, lots of veggies, tomatoes, beans, other leafy green vegetables available around our house. For my personal category, I budgeted 2,500 and I spent 2,997. Which means I have a negative balance here as well. 2,997 minus 2,500. I have a negative balance of minus 497 rupees. Now coming to my sinking funds. For my sinking fund categories, I always allocate whatever I have budgeted for because my sinking fund category is something that I carry over. Whatever remains, I always roll over every month. So there's no difference here. I'll do a separate sinking fund update below here. And for my eating out category, I budgeted 1,500 and I only spent 1,380 rupees for the month of February. And most of this was spent on lunch because February was a very, very busy month for me regarding work. And some days I didn't have time to go back home to have lunch. I would be at the hospital and then directly I would go to the clinic. So I would have a very, very short lunch break, like 30 minutes lunch break, which was not enough for me to go home, have lunch and come back. So I would eat outside. But I don't want to be doing that anymore because my health is so very important for me. I want to focus more on my health and I would like to talk about my health as well, the changes that I'm doing, how I'm trying to keep balance between work and life. I would like to talk about such things as well in my channel. I don't know if anybody will be interested or not, but I think I'll talk about it because I want to document all these things. I want to look back into my videos and, like understand what I was going through at that moment or at that time. Yeah, so 1380 was spent mostly on lunches, like I said before. I didn't actually go out to eat with my friends or anything. It was just for lunch and like when I was tired at the clinic, and I would order tea from outside, all those things. So if I have spent 1380 from 1500, the remaining balance is 120. And for my miscellaneous category, I budgeted 8,485 rupees and I spent a total amount of 10,930 rupees, which means I am having a negative balance minus 2,445. I have already done the math. The total income was 55,860. Total expenses 55,548. So the difference will be 55,860 minus 55,548. I have a difference of 312 rupees. So let us check if that's true. 154 is the balance that I had. 1430 plus 1950 plus 120. This is the positive balance that I have from some of the categories, and then let's subtract the negative balance from there. 497 minus 2,445, that's 312 rupees. So which means that now, as you can see, I have some negative balance here. For the miscellaneous, I overspent by 2,445 rupees. What I did was, other months what I would do was I would have taken out money from my buffer or from my savings to fund for this. But since I had some money remaining in my ration category, I also had some money remaining in my food and groceries category. What I did was, for these categories where I had gone over budget, I took out money from these category to compensate. That's why I did not have to dip into my savings, I did not have to dip into my buffer, and that's why I said February is a good month. Now coming to my sinking funds update, this was a last moment thing. I did not want to do a sinking funds update, but then I thought again, if I don't do a sinking funds update while I do a budget closeout, that would be like something's missing out. So I included it last minute. I have 4 sinking funds categories, that is car maintenance, health and medical, pets and vacation. So these 4 categories, I roll over the money every month. Whatever remains at the end of one month, that will be rolled over to next month. I do not put the remaining amount into buffer or anything. And yeah, coming back to the difference is 312 rupees. These I'll just keep it in my checking account. I'll just put it into buffer. So in the beginning of February, I started the month with 3,010 rupees in my car maintenance, and then I budgeted 1,000 rupees here in the month of February. So the total budget for car maintenance in February was 4,010 rupees. And in the month of February, I spent 740 rupees in this category. That was 400 rupees was for a car wash, and 340 rupees I needed to do a small little repair in my bumper. So I spent 740, which means I have a remaining balance of 3,270 rupees in my car maintenance category. And this money will roll over to the month of March, and whatever money I budget in the month of March will be added to this amount. And in my health and medical category, I started the month with 1,300 in it, and then I budgeted 1,000 rupees, as you can see. Total is 2,300, and in the month of February I did not spend any money in my health and medical category, so I have an ending balance of 2,300 rupees here. For my pets, I started the month with 2,412. I budgeted 900 rupees, as you can see, and so the total is 3,312 rupees that was available in the month of February. And in this category, I spent 2,000 rupees because one of my dogs had to get his annual vaccination, and that was 2,000 rupees. So when we subtract this 2,000 rupees from 3,312 rupees, I have a remaining balance of 1,312. And for my vacation category, I had a beginning balance of 3,000 rupees, and then I budgeted 1,000, and the budget is 4,000. I didn't spend anything because this is something that I'm building up. Of course, I won't be spending. So the end balance is 4,000 rupees. Now, when we add this up, let's check how much we have in my sinking funds category. 3,270 plus 2,300 plus 1,312 plus 4,000 rupees. is 10,882 rupees. And so this is the amount that I have in my sinking fund by the end of February, and this is the amount that I'll be carrying over to the month of March as well. Yeah, that is all I have for today. Thank you so much if you're still watching. I hope to see you in my next video. Until then, take care and bye-bye.